Scott Pilgrim versus the World. Back when blue hair on a girl just means she was a little bit weird and hardcore.
No, mom is blue haired on a girl and I was like, oh, she is a gothic. She's freaky.
Now, it means something completely different. Stay away from blue hair.
You gotta say Miss Marvel before Captain America. Wait, no, you fired.
Just speaks to me. I don't know. It's weird. Not the racism part, but the rest of the movie really does speak to me. Welcome to the list. This is a show where we watch our movie from our all-time watch list, hang out, talk about it, drop a couple facts, and the movie we're scratching off the list today is the 2010's Scott Pilgrim vs. the World.
2010?
Anyway, in a magically realistic version of Toronto, a young man must defeat his new girlfriend's 7 evil exes one by one in order to win her heart. If you were to ask me what are my favorite movies, this is definitely cracking the top 10 for me personally. I remember watching it in the theater. I remember loving it, walking out of that theater. I have that same feeling every time I watch it than I had walking out of that theater. I really adore this movie. It just combines my favorite things: movies, video games, comics / mangas. And I think we were a perfect demo at the time of release.
Gotta say, I did not watch this in the movie theater. And to tell you the truth, I do not remember the first time I watched it.
This was one that was played a lot on TV. Mm-hmm. And every time I catch it, I have to watch it. That's one of those for me.
Oh, yeah. It doesn't matter which part you catch it on. You watch it.
We have to break down this cast. Michael Cera, Kieran Culkin, Anna Kendricks, Allison Pill, Aubrey Plaza, Mary Elizabeth Winstead, Jason Schwartzman, Chris Evans, Brie Larson, Mae Whitman, Brandon Routh. You got Superman and Miss Marvel in this movie. This cast is OP.
You gotta say Miss Marvel before Captain America. Wait, no, you fired.
She would kick his ass. Sorry.
No. Yeah, you fired.
I didn't know this, dog.
What?
Bill Hader is the voice.
The one man. That guy? He's a magician with voices, no?
Yeah.
I've never paid attention to who made that voice. I was so starstruck with every person that's in this movie. Yeah. And I mean, Moonflowers.
To look back at this cast, you're like, damn, there was a lot of mega stars on this.
I mean, Brandon Routh is not like the best Superman ever, but he was a good one.
He's a good actor. He's good. Everybody does a great job.
Yes, they do. Johnny
Simmons, who plays Young Neil. I didn't know this either. The name Young Neil is a shout out to Neil Young. It's the same name backwards.
Get my mother.
How do we not figure that out?
Someone knows.
Ellen Wong, who plays Scott's high school girlfriend, Knives, is actually 3 years older than Michael Cera.
She looks 16.
Yeah. He's actually younger than what he looks like, I guess.
Well, ain't it that he's dating a 16-year-old, he being 22?
But they make it specific that they're not doing anything. It's murky waters for sure.
Yeah, it's murky waters, but they barely hold hands.
Anna Kendricks, who plays his younger sister, is older than him too.
I mean, that's also one that's like forever young.
Yeah, she looks exactly the same now.
Did she make a deal with the devil?
This movie is directed by Edgar Wright, who is definitely a visionary cinematically. He's very unique. He's got his own style now, I would say, right?
When was the first time you saw an Edgar Wright movie? Mine was Shaun of the Dead, but I consciously knew I was watching his movies by The World's End.
Mine probably was Baby Driver, where I knew who Edgar Wright was and I watched it because it was him.
Damn, wow, okay.
Yeah.
He was gonna make Ant-Man, wait. Imagine what Ant-Man would have been with him directing.
Those talks were going on while he was making this. So this is what pulled him away from Ant-Man.
Oh, but imagine how much better it would have been with Edgar Wrightism.
Out of all of the Marvel superheroes, I think Ant-Man would have fit perfectly with the Wright feeling. Brian Lee O'Malley was actually the creator of the graphic novel. I found this to be funny and a little disrespectful that he needed the money so bad that he didn't care what they did with the rights for the movie, so he just sold them to them.
Oh man, wow.
He didn't let them just like bastardize his creation, but that was a funny note. He was just like, I sold it to him because I need the money.
He was very involved in the making of this of the movie, to the point where didn't he take some of the movie's ending to kind of write his own?
So when the movie came out, only this book was out. So the whole series wasn't finished yet. So he did borrow a lot of stuff from the movie that he actually helped write to put into the series.
Interesting. Okay.
Back when blue hair on a girl just means she was a little bit weird and hardcore.
No, mom is blue haired on a girl. I was like, oh, she is a gothic. She's freaky.
Now it means something completely different. Stay away from blue hair. The pace in this movie, but this goes with the Edgar Wright isms you were mentioning, is just wild. It's just super, super breakneck pace when it wants it to be, and then it will slow down in other parts to have you chill and soak up what's going on, and then it'll start going like a lot of camera turns and a lot of movement really, really quick.
When Scott and Ramona are having their date at Wallace's house, it's a chill moment.
Yeah.
But even in that chill moment, you're like, bam, 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 cut. This happens, this happens, this happens. And then within the span of 3 minutes, you're outside. And after that, we get the fight.
Yeah, it's an intimate moment, but there's a lot of breaks. He switches. Doesn't he like switch shirts? He puts a hat on because he feels conscious about it. And it's just a lot of movements in a very intimate scene, what's supposed to be. There's a ton of music in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the genre isn't necessarily like my favorite genre, but I feel like I wouldn't pick any other kind of genre to go with this movie. It just blends perfectly. I love Metric's Black Sheep song. That was on my iPod back in the day, and I was rocking the hell out of that song so much. I love that song so much, but the music is fantastic in this movie.
I love that they blend that with a lot of video game scores.
Yeah.
To the point where one of the Final Fantasy songs is like used in a transition just to say, oh, well, Ramona's here. I'm going to f*** off. Neil, take the guitar, and then a ton of shit happens.
There's also Zelda music, and Edgar Wright got the rights to use that by writing a hand letter to Nintendo. He said that the music are like our children's lullabies for our generation, which is our 100% true.
Yeah, I've fallen asleep with a lot of Zelda music, actually.
It's used at the very beginning of the movie, and also in the dream chase where he's following Ramona down the hallway. You can hear the fairy fountain theme, which it's off a little bit. I felt like they were playing something similar to like pay homage to it, but no, it was actually it.
Mm-hmm. I mean, you've heard so many renditions of the Zelda music that you kind of get mixed up with which is the real key or whatever.
And you're not expecting it in the movie either. That's the thing.
Of course.
There's a lot of video game shoutouts that also speaks to our generation as well. And the games that they're picking to do the shoutouts to is also amazing.
Oh, you get it in the music, you get it in the shirts, all the references. There's this part where, was it Knives or Ramona asks Neil, what do you play? And Neil's like, Tetris, Zelda. It's kind of a loaded question. And in that situation, I would imagine the same thing is like, what do you play?
Oof, yeah, I'm one that plays everything, so you can't ask me that.
Yeah, no, the correct question is, what are you playing now? And I mean, she was referring to which instrument.
Yeah.
But he was like, no, and my head went to the same place.
Yeah, and I love that he's playing all these different handhelds throughout the movie. And I think
that's hilarious.
That might be the only thing that's dating the movie, right?
Well, not even. Well, not for us.
Yeah, I feel like this movie's just timeless, and I was just looking for something to nitpick it to make it not timeless, and that's the only thing that I came up with.
When they're at Goodwill shopping for CDs.
Oh, yeah. They go to a CD store a lot.
Yeah, that's gonna rate it for sure.
Yeah. The band had to practice a ton to try to come off as believable. They had a person studying them, making sure everything that they were doing was done correctly. But Michael Cera on the bass was actually too good. So he actually had to tone it down a bit.
I remember watching this in the DVD special features. Side note, let's not lose those special features on movies. Even in the streaming services, you can put... Disney Plus has the extras tab, which is cool. But they were full-on documentaries because in one of those, it said that Michael Cera was actually in a band and had been for a couple years.
Yeah. I am disappointed that I didn't tell that the person who was actually writing and performing the sex bomb songs was actually Beck.
What?
Choking on a splitter.
Time is a piece of wax falling on a termite who's choking on the splinters.
Those sex bomb songs, all of them,
Yeah.
lived on the memory of my phone for literally years.
From the beginning, Kim screaming, "We are sex bomb." It just gets you. It just gets you hyped.
And by the end, we're here to sell out and kick some ass. And I was like, oh, Kim.
This movie has a ton of great lines that I didn't catch the first time. Like when they're going to the party, Kim says,
Oh man, this is gonna suck.
At least it'll give us something to complain about.
I love that line so much.
Kind of speaks to your adult soul, doesn't it?
Yeah, because you just do stuff to piss you off so you can complain about it later. I feel like that's a lot of comic mentality where they do it for the story even though they know it's gonna suck. And then the next shot is them.
Suck. I'm gonna go pee due to boredom.
All these one-liners are fantastic.
But you also see some kind of character work that does emulate real life. You have that friend that just wants to fit in.
Yeah.
And Scott's like, I'm bored. And the other guy's like, I'm bored. Like mimicking exactly what he was doing, but not really feeling it.
Right.
Because I always also was that guy.
Okay. They say things that I wish I came up with, you know? Like when the first time he hits on Ramona and he fails, he's like, "All right, I'll leave you alone forever now." That's a great line. That is a great line. Of course, you got memes and stuff like bread makes you fat.
Is Scott here?
You know what? He just left.
There are a ton that I missed the first time around.
Did we suck?
I don't know. Did you?
She has to go. She knows we suck.
Referring to the band. And probably the most insensitive one, which makes it the best line in the whole movie.
You'll pay for what you did to him.
Listen, Kung Pao chicken.
Yo,
Made me laugh so hard
Me too.
I didn't give a.
me too. But today, that's probably being cut out. That's all I'm saying. I just feel like this movie's written brilliantly. It just speaks to me. I don't know. It's weird. Not the racism part, but the rest of the movie really does speak to me. I feel like it's for me. I don't know how to explain it. I just really, really love this movie, man. I also love that they use artwork from the graphic novel. That artwork was not actually done by whoever did the graphic novel one. It was actually Edgar Wright's brother who also did the opening, the Universal and 8-bit, which is pretty cool.
Oh, that's brilliant.
Again, this movie's just so fast paced that there are gonna be some misses. And one for me was the random Seinfeld riff and the audience laughing. It just came out of left field.
Neta?
I don't know. I felt like it didn't fit to me. I don't know. That was a strike.
I thought it fit perfectly. Wait, when you got a Hindi or Hindu guy dressed as a pirate fighting with goth demons, I think that's the least of them. The least of your worries.
I know, but we're talking about gaming and cool music, and then all of a sudden Seinfeld. It just, even Bollywood stuff makes sense to me. It all goes. It's all some sort of, cool subgenre culture fandom thing. Seinfeld.
And Seinfeld is not.
This is a movie of fighting, so it is very cool, over the top, fun fighting, and it's kind of easy to make fighting look cool with all the stuff that they throw at you on screen. But there's actually really cool choreography mixed in as well. I think that the fighting comes off pretty legit.
I think what drives it home is that you get these wide shots with their fighting. Michael Cera's fighting.
Yeah,
That blew me away when I found out about that.
there are a couple shots when he's zooming in and turning around when you can totally tell it's not Michael Cera anymore and it's a stunt double. But for the most part, you're buying everything on screen, and it makes sense since Jackie Chan's stunt team were the ones that trained the cast for 2 months.
That is dope. Imagine if Jackie Chan personally showed up himself just to for giggles.
Nah, I don't think you will. You want Jackie Chan to show up as one of the exes? Ramona's weird face. Jackie Chan's ass going like this.
His daddy issues face. Her daddy issues
Daddy
face.
issue phase after college. What's up, dude? So he's fighting all of her exes, and you can find a lot of numbers representing the order of the exes throughout the film.
Until this last viewing, I was like, oh, there's numbers everywhere.
There's a lot of X's littered throughout the screen as well.
Yep.
And the one number that I really didn't caught on the first time was actually Scott as 0, because he's not an X yet. There's a couple things he's got 0 on around himself representing that. Gideon doesn't have anything blatant, but when he takes him down, he gets 7 million points. There's actually also 7 henchmen that attack him at the end. On the way to fight him, he deals 700 in damage.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Social commentary, I guess, is weird to say in this movie with the whole vegan police stuff, because just the way
that was so stupid.
It also comes out of left field.
Being vegan makes you better.
Makes you better than everybody. So much so that I feel like that's what, at the time, that's what veganism felt like to people. Like they were superhero beings.
This being a comic book and video game inspired film, I think that was the stupidest line ever. That's the most dude bro moment I've ever seen.
Simon. Evil exes. That is because there is one lady that he has to fight. And I thought this part was cool because it's not like he's saving Ramona at any point, right?
Oh, hell no.
Towards the end, yes, with Gideon. But she's not a victim in anything, right? It's more like he has to earn her, which is a little weird also. But okay, it works. And in this fight with the girl, it proves that she's also a badass and she can also fight, right? And it offers also a creative fight between technically Ramona and the lesbian. He's like, I'm not going to hit a girl, so she's controlling him, and it's an interesting creative fight.
I think I'm not going to say it was my favorite fight.
Oh, okay.
But I thought it was a good one, in the fact that just Scott is just there.
Right.
And by that time, Ramona just whooped Roxy's ass.
He don't want to be there. That's what's funny. He doesn't want to be there, but the terms he has to. They also wrote it in a creative way to get out of it with her having the weakness behind the knees, so he doesn't have to technically whoop her ass.
But it is also true that you can put a woman out of commission with an orgasm.
What is your favorite fight? I never thought of that.
It's between Lucas Lee, Mr. Captain America himself.
Yeah, I was thinking
just
about
because
that.
he was so extreme.
Yeah.
And the Katayanagi twins.
I don't want to be basic and say Gideon, but that's a good one.
I think it's not my favorite fight, but by far is the best fight in terms of you see him fight the X, like in the white shots and the close-ups. You see them brawl, and it's pretty dope because they're fighting with Zords.
Sword fights are always cool. That's another video game reference. Gideon's club is called the Chaos Theater, and that's the name of a location in Earthbound.
Awesome! Oh, damn! It's exactly where I got stuck in the game. The Ramona flowers look banging in the rock.
You love.
I am a simp for Mary Elizabeth Winstead.
Is this where it started?
No, it's actually started with Sky High.
Oh yeah. And I
This
know what you
kind
mean.
of nerd girl next door. Then she turns into this badass bitch. I'm like, ugh.
And as you're growing, she's growing. So the roles you see her in are different and more mature. So I mean, it fits. At the end, I did think it was kind of lame that she was just gonna give up on him and leave. Like, I would have been pissed, bitch. I just killed 7 people for you, and you're just gonna walk away because you think I should stay with knives? Hell no.
That was the OG ending.
That was the OG ending. Yes.
No, that is no. Q.
Right, but they rewrote it because Scott has been fighting all these fools and it would be for nothing.
Yeah, it was so anticlimactic. I was even sad.
Yeah.
Like, okay, Ramona is finally free to date Scott, the best version of Scott. The Scott where he finds himself, he grows as a person. He's finally a man. And now, okay, bye-bye, you get knives.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, bro.
It didn't sit right with me. Not the fact that was going to be the ending, but just Ramona taking that stance was also kind of like, ew, like, what the hell?
Oh, yeah.
But it also didn't take her much to, like, go with him. Like, it only took him to run over and say, oh, I'll go with you. And that was it. There was no, like, no, don't, or nothing. There was no pushback on her part.
Ramona at the end is not, I feel like she's not Ramona. She is a person with no armor on. She's totally vulnerable, but I think we kind of lost her character there.
Well, because she's vulnerable because all her dirty laundry's been aired out, basically.
Like in that OG ending, the fact that her dirty laundry's out and the guy still wants to be with you, and you're like, nah, you walk out.
Yeah, it wouldn't have set right with the audience. They made the right choice in changing it. Well, Brian Lee was actually giving the actors a lot of intricacies for each character. So he was J.K. Rowling it a little bit, like what she did with Professor Snape, right? She told him the big spiel.
Simon.
So he was doing the same for some of these characters here. And the big one for Ramona is actually that she lost her brother.
What?
Yeah.
That would have been a little bit too much for the movie.
Yeah, that's a lot of trauma dumping.
I mean, I guess it does help with the emotional state of things.
I like it that it's a secret and that we find out afterwards as fans, and that's also why she has like a shoelace as a choker, because that was her brother's shoelace and she uses it to like remind herself about him.
Wait, word?
Yeah.
Still learning things after watching this movie since 2010 a bunch of times.
Also in the comic, Steven is gay.
That makes total sense.
So they told Mark Webber that to kind of use that. That's why he's also to motivate the character. Another secret of what like one of those was Aubrey Plaza's character, Julie Powers, is supposed to have a crush on Scott. That's why she's so weird and protective of him that way.
Is that why she never wants Scott to talk to any other women?
That's part of the jealousy, yeah. They also kind of insinuate that the whole video game stuff is how Scott is portraying the world. So all that stuff is going in his mind. So another ending was going to be when he actually defeats Gideon. All the nice, shiny video game coins and the coins instead of blood was actually going to turn into real blood. And we were going to see the actual massacre that Scott left behind.
That would have been a horror movie.
It would have made it R, to say the least. And they were really trying to keep it under PG. Also, in the comic, Brian Lee says that the exes don't actually die. What they do is they respawn at their house with their lesson now learned. So they're like a changed person.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. What's also really cool is the video game they came out. And there's a bunch of cheat codes, of course, giving shout outs and references to video games. Like when you select a character, it's the Mario 2 select screen. You can also set on a code to enable blood on the video game, which is pretty cool. This actually became a cult hit. I didn't know that a lot of people feel like I felt. What I did know is that it actually bombed in the theater. It had a $85 million budget and it only brought in $48 million in revenue.
Oh.
And it's sad because this movie rocks. It's weirdly timeless. At least for me, I can watch this whenever. I can watch it how many times, and I will keep finding new things and intricacies throughout this movie. This movie is awesome. If you've not seen it and you're somewhat of a nerd, gamer, comic book guy, 100% watch it. You won't be disappointed.
This is a fun movie. For every nerd that hasn't watched this movie, shame on you.
Shame. But speaking about top 10 movies that I want to recommend, I'll leave for you The Warriors. Another one of my top 10 movies that I love. I'll leave for you right over there. Make sure you head on. Watch that right over there. Thank you guys for watching. And remember to always and forever, you do you.
Bye.